Business, which today comes from the World Economic Forum in Davos. Stephen Carroll is there in the Swiss Alps for us. What's on the agenda today, Stephen?
Well, as always here in Davos, it's quite difficult to pick out single themes from what's happening over the course of 4 days of some kind of 250 sessions taking place here. One of the major events, though, this Friday is one on climate change. Al Gore, the former vice president, the Bill Gates, of course, from Microsoft, and also many other figures interested in that topic are taking place in a discussion that are going to look at climate change and growth and development, that particular angle, which is part of the general theme of reshaping the world here at Davos. We're also expecting to hear from the US Secretary of State, John Kerry. He arrived from those Syrian talks you were talking about in Montreux. He has arrived in Davos. He'll be speaking later today on the US and the Middle East. And we're also going to hear from the British Prime Minister, David Cameron. He's going to be talking about the idea of reshoring, bringing outsourced work from the UK back to the United Kingdom to try to create jobs there. But as always here at the World Economic Forum, the real business takes place not in those seminars, but between business leaders who are meeting here, hundreds of CEOs. In fact, I'm pleased to say that we're joined by one of those business leaders, Vineet Nayyar, who's the Executive Vice Chairman of Tech Mahindra, one of India's biggest technology firms. Thank you for joining us on France 24. Can you explain to us, what does Davos mean to you? Why do you come here?
Well, it is in many ways a melting pot of thoughts, of ideas, and of people who genuinely believe that they can improve the world as is. And obviously, the underlying feature always is business, because they're largely business leaders. But there is a meeting between the intellectuals, the thinkers, the political doers, and the business people. So it's a confluence which is rare in normal day-to-day activity which takes place here. So that is what makes it so attractive, despite the weather and despite the cold.
Cold it certainly is. Can we look ahead at your 2014? You're expecting big growth for your company this year. Where are you expecting that growth to come from?
Well, I think globally things are looking up, but even more importantly, the sentiment has improved. Sentiment, US is showing growth. Asia was always growing at a certain pace insofar as our business is concerned. And that continues as is. But most importantly, Europe is looking very, very good for us. I saw you talked about the British Prime Minister wanting to bring the jobs back. But I think what is not recognized is that the jobs which went out improved the efficiency of the economy, and which created even more jobs there. So ultimately, everybody has to reconcile and accept and work with cost-effective ways or economically efficient ways of working. And the existing system provides that.
Can I ask you very quickly as well, I'm sorry, there are elections coming up in India this year. There are many challenges for the business environment. What are you hoping for? What's the business community in India hoping for to come out of these elections?
Well, what we are hoping for is a business leadership which is committed to development, which is committed to growth, and which will do everything possible to harvest the talent which exists in the country. In the last 5 to 7 years, that has not happened.
Okay, we'll be watching that very closely, I'm sure. Vineet Nayyar, the Executive Vice Chairman of Tech Mahindra, thank you for joining us on France 24. Just time for a quick look at the markets before we go. A fairly mixed picture in Asia today. The Nikkei down by almost 2%, this after the latest fluctuations in the value of the currency. Energy companies particularly poorly hit. Also disappointing results from Samsung in South Korea, sending the Kospi into negative territory as well. And that's all we have for you from Davos for now. Plenty more throughout the day, though. Do stay with us on France 24.
Thanks, Stephen. That was Stephen reporting from the 2014 World Economic Forum over in Switzerland. Time now for web news, starting with the ongoing standoff in Ukraine.